A few months ago, I had a lot of fun going outside to create 3D models out of real-life locations. It's all fun and games until winter comes and everything becomes more complicated. Montreal is great and winter can be beautiful, but I might be getting old because I don't enjoy freezing my ass off as I used to. I just want to go out on a warm summer day, take a bunch of photos and videos with my drone, maybe grab a cup of coffee on my way back and mess around with the shot that I took. But nope. I'm just sitting here in my office wondering what my next video should be about. And there it was all along. Some good old drone footage without a freaking snowflake in sight. This was one of the first times that I flew my drone and I'm not sure what I had in mind when I shot this, but now I know. For the past few months, I got into the rabbit hole of visual effects. From simulations to photogrammetry, this is one thing that always hit the spot: motion tracking. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Some softwares are fully dedicated to motion tracking. There's evil companies popping circles everywhere on your footage. And there's also our good old friend Blender. Let's have a look at the footage we have here. It's a simple drone shot going around the pier. But you see those two ladies walking a dog? They're in great danger, and we have to defend them. So we'll place a missile launcher that comes out of the pier to protect them from an invasion. If you want to help these old ladies and the channel, you can join my Patreon page where I upload project files and post my YouTube videos a few days early. You can even download the footage I'm using in this video to follow along with the motion tracking process. Let's get started. So to get our missile launcher to stick to the footage, we'll use the cheapest option and open up Blender. Now once Blender is loaded, oh, I forgot to mention, I'm a Linux user now. Not a big deal, I know. Just me using the terminal to move files around and all that. So yeah, that's why Blender loads up so fast. Go watch my video where I compare Blender on Windows and Linux. The link will be in the description. Anyways, once inside my super fast Blender startup page, there's a magical place called the Motion Tracking tab. It's well hidden under that plus tab, and it's a bit confusing once inside, but it's quite simple actually. The first step is to open up our drone footage and make sure the camera settings are correct. To the right, there's a track tab, and inside you have the camera menu. If you click on the lens settings, you can see the focal length option. And that's where I messed up. I'm still unsure what I did wrong, but I ended up with a bad setup on my first attempt. You'll see what I mean. Now let's pick a few options and click on Detect Features. Add a few more features by reducing the threshold and distance in the Detect Features menu. And remove some on the footage. Water and trees are good for the environment, but not so much for motion tracking. So we'll keep the features on the pier where we want the missile launcher to be placed. And it's now tracking time. Once it's finished, hide the trackers and detect more features. Now let's track again, but backward. And one last time, but from the middle. Just kidding, we need to do it again from the middle, but backward once more. Let's unhide all of the trackers and cut the trackers' path right before they go berserk. This will help us by only using the good part of the trackers. The process is a bit boring and repetitive, but it can be mandatory depending on the type of footage you're working with. And since this shot is far away and most of it is water, we have to use our trackers efficiently. So simply put, I select the trackers popping out of the timeline, reverse select to hide all the other trackers, place the playhead right before the tracker goes bad, and click on Clear Track Path. Then unhide the other trackers. Rinse and repeat until your timeline looks clean. Now it's time to solve the camera and see the results. Okay, we have a solve error of 10.76 pixels, which is not good, but it's fixable. We can continue to clean trackers, but there's also a second method. I'll click on the Cleanup tab and use it to select the trackers with a big error to delete them. You can click on the viewport overlay options and choose info to show each tracker's average error directly on the footage. So when I click on clean track, I can choose the threshold of the average pixel error. I'll write 10 and delete the selected trackers to redo the camera solving. Alright, this brings it down to 4.46 pixel. I'll keep on doing this until I get a solve error of at least 1 pixel, and hopefully I have enough trackers to go even lower. Let's see how low we can go. Okay, this isn't working. My cube is distorted as hell and it doesn't track well. This is most likely due to the lens settings. I tried a few ways to fix it and couldn't get a good result, so let's restart the whole process with no changes to the camera lens settings this time. The default settings are the good one anyways. Let's hit solve and we have a 1.31 pixel solve error on the first pass. Let's go! Now let's clean up our trackers a bit and cross our fingers for a very low number. Okay, so 0.6 pixel is pretty much as low as I can go right now with this setup, so let's see how well the cube sticks to the footage now. There's an easy way to set up your scene which will add a default cube and a shadow catcher on 2 different view layers. Alright, so it works, but I have to play around with the keyframes of the cube to make it stick better. And it still gets distorted at the end. I'll come back to it later. Before deploying our missile launcher, I want to test a second method which was brought up by the YouTuber Polyfjord. It uses ColdMap and GlowMap to solve everything through a script. You can check out his video on how to install everything. Basically, you run a script that extracts the frames of your footage and it goes through ColdMap to match the features and reconstruct a 3D point cloud scene. Let's give it a try. So I have a folder set up as instructed by Polyfjord. I add my footage to the video folder and run the script. It took about 17 minutes to finish, which is quite fast actually compared to other methods. Let's have a look inside Blender. With the photogrammetry add-on, we can now import a ColdMap database. And it's not working. So I'm not sure if it works on Blender 5.0, but I rolled back to Blender 4.5, which is the same version used in the Polyfjord video, and it works now. Look how beautiful that is. The scene is completely reconstructed out of point clouds and now you can adjust the radius size and play around with it. Let's align it to the center of the scene and see how well the default cube sticks to the footage. Alright, it doesn't seem too bad, but it's not as good as the native Blender motion tracking results we had earlier. So even though GlowMap was quick and we didn't have to do anything besides running a script, it might not be optimal for a more complex shot like this one. You know what? Let's mask out the water and see if we get better results. So I load up After Effects and start roto brushing. I don't think I need a perfect mask for this. We just need to remove the water so the ColdMap can focus on the pier. Alright, let's copy the Polyfjord folder, delete the old scene, and add the new mask video. I can't wait to see the results. It worked as expected, and it seems to be a bit more consistent. It's not perfect, but it's quick and dirty and probably good enough for a lot of applications. I'm a bit bummed out that it didn't use the GPU as it should. I spent a bunch of time trying to make it work with the CUDA toolkit and also to make it work on Linux, but I haven't figured out a way to make it work yet, so if you do, please let me know in the comments. Anyways, we'll use the native Blender motion tracking setup that we made previously, since we have more control with this one to load up our missile launcher in it. I actually gave one last try to fix my Blender file, and by selecting the refined focal length option, I was able to get the tracking down to 0.34 pixel and the cube seems less distorted. This was the missing piece of the puzzle. It's finally time to save the old ladies. I'm using a model found on Sketchfab and trimmed it a bit to keep the missile launcher only. I'll link the model in the description. I'll be making this animation real quick just to get a good feel of the motion tracking. I won't go into all the details of what I did, but basically it's a bunch of lights with shadow catchers and holdouts on separate view layers with an animated cover and missile launcher. The material for the missile launcher cover has an image texture of the video, and I used the project from view option to give it the same look as the pier. Then I used Flamenco to render the animation using both my laptop and PC at the same time. That's another satisfying feature I want to talk about soon. Let me know in the comments if you want the breakdown of the animation. The project files will be on my Patreon. Eventually the snow calms down, the sun comes out, and it will be summer again. Now this is not too bad for some random footage that wasn't meant to be used for a motion tracking scene. I tried a bunch of different methods to try to find the best way without breaking the bank, and I'm quite happy with the results. If you enjoyed this video, please take the time to like and subscribe, and click on this video for Windows and Linux comparison for Blender users. Thanks for watching. See ya.